So, good morning. We're at Tallinn Coffee Festival, the second day, and we get together with some local roasters and also Michaelis from Greece. And we're going to develop some subjects today about how roasters navigate the coffee market, how we do our buying, and some other subjects we'll just go through together. Quick intro. My name is Afshin Roshanian. I'm from Artisan Green Bean, based in Romania, and I will let each person to introduce.
Hello, thank you for the invitation. My name is Michalis, I'm from Greece, Michalis Mitrakopoulos. I'm ex-world champion in cooking with spirits and yes, and second in the world in the barista competition 2019, very old. And now I'm certified judge, I have my roastery, I'm doing trainings, so I'm very happy to be here with you because I have tried your coffees. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Jan. Thanks for the invitation, of course. And we're here with the Estonian roastery from Tallinn called the Brick Coffee. So it's a small roastery. We just moved, so now we have a big space, but the roastery is still small, so we kind of still think it's a small roastery. Yeah, that's it.
Hello everyone, my name is Domas. I'm from Lithuania, from Taste Map Coffee Roasters. We've been roasting coffee from 2012. We have 5 coffee shops, specialty roastery, and we're interested in championships, compete many times, and right now preparing for Panama. That's for me.
Morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in Tallinn Coffee Festival. By the way, congratulations to a festival. It's 10th year edition. I think it's a nice number to enjoy. And my name is Emanuelis. I'm from Lithuania as well as Domas. I'm from Crooked Nose and Coffee Stories. I still think, although I'm 15 years in a coffee game, I still see as a playground. I still enjoy it. I still see it mainly as a kid and try to create things out of coffee to educate people. And at the same time, I'm a roaster. Yeah, doing some roasts, enjoying the green beans, and having fun.
So thank you everyone, first of all, to accept the invitation for this podcast. It was like last minute. It like just thrown together. It was yesterday, this idea. And the idea comes as we do podcasts with different people in the coffee industry back home. And it all started from this project Green Connect, where we connect, we bring in the producers and we connect them to the roasters. So I'll jump in right directly to this subject because we are essentially a green trading coffee company. We, no matter how we want to put it, we connect roasters, we connect, what we do is we bring the coffee and we sell the coffee. And we're since 2019 working in the green coffee business, since 2013 in the specialty coffee industry. And I think as our business develops and it grows, obviously we start with smaller roasters and medium roasters, and the medium roasters they become big roasters, and throughout these years our clients have been getting bigger and bigger. And of course the relationship is getting different as they get bigger. And I was talking yesterday with you, Jan, about the need for direct trade. For a roaster, I think essentially every roaster wants to do direct trade. I think that's one of the, if you love coffee, I think you want to get to the source. So I want to navigate here a little bit, you know, why other than wanting to meet the producer, what is this need to work with directly with origin? Because not all the time is easy. Sometimes it's super easy, but not all the time is easy. And how that looks. So I start with you because you started this topic with me yesterday.
All right. I think what's important for us, it's less of a direct trade, but more traceability and transparency with the trade. So I think the word. I mean, as you say yourself, one thing is going to the source, but for us, it's, I guess, also being sure how things are handled. You know, when we talk about, for instance, like Colombian smallholders, it's never been like we talked about this yesterday as well. How bodegas never give feedback, and they every year the coffee is 82, 83, and you get the market price. That's it. But if you can be sure, and you can, if you have the connection with the producers that you work with, and you can give the feedback, and you can, have conversation about the future. I think this is one thing very important for us. The second is, it's I guess something we realized also is if we want to get better and have better quality each year, for smallholders it's a massive risk to do. They want to be sure that it's going to be fine, so they are going to do things that they've been doing for years, and it's been working and it's fine. But having a trust, or that trust between buyers and sellers, that what we've had this relationship for years, they can trust us that we're gonna be buying coffee anyways, and that's, I think, a first step towards getting quality better, for instance. So I think it's a long-term mission for us to create all those relationships. And since we're very young in this coffee business still, I think trading directly, for instance, I think it's very new to us. So we're learning. We're kind of getting used to a lot of things in the trade. And yeah, I guess that's about it.
I believe that the problem, I don't know, I believe that all of us were agreeing. Sometimes, as let's say small companies or companies that were involved in the competitions, the problem that we had, we remember the producer when we have competitions, and always we need the direct trades from them for the competitions coffees. But sometimes the long-term relationship, they're coming from the importers that they are doing, let's say, the importing of coffee from the farms. It's very good to visit the farms, to know the people, to learn about the farm and everything. But when you are remembering someone only when you need him, it's a very bad thing. This is what I believe. So, for example, I had very good friendship with some people from Panama, but I'm not trying to skip the people that they import the coffees, because in other case it's also unfair for them, and it's also, let's say, very bad for me, because you are importing Europe, right? So for us it's easier to buy the coffees direct from Europe rather than to buy. I don't know the customs. I don't know the money that I had to spend for the people to import inside. So it's a huge mess sometimes. I don't know if you are agreeing.
I'm navigating. So as you can imagine, this is like we started with an idea, and when we started with the idea of the green coffee, it wasn't to become a trading company. And we've gone through different things, like companies who just bring the logistics and the finance, and they charge a fee, and you buy the coffee direct from the where you want, and they bring it for you, and they charge you the financing, and so on. And I've noticed that if I break it down in a way, I come down to the same thing. I've done this lately with a roaster who asked me to bring for them. And beginning, I was like, okay, why? And this, it didn't make sense. And I started making the calculations, and I was like, wait a minute, this is how much almost I make from this coffee. So it's the way you break it down. Transparency, I think, is what Jan mentioned. So the farmer is getting $7 a kilo, let's say. You're getting $3 for warehousing and transport, import, I don't know, whatever, which is for you. And you're getting a landed cost. That landed cost, it also changes based on how fast you sell the coffees. So if you're importing 6 tons of coffee and you're not selling 6 tons of coffee, then the financing. But for some bigger roasters, it makes sense to bring direct, because they make these calculations, and it makes sense. But when we started this, it was, first of all, choose producers. Our goal was to to work with really good producers first. So we chose very good farms, which we knew that they were doing very well, and there was clear traceability on where we're buying the coffee. Now we're getting to the point, yes, we get to smaller producers, not known at all, and they bring their coffees on the table through an exporter, someone local, because when you go locally, you cannot just go to the producer. You contact someone that's bringing the coffee together. He has the cupping lab. The coffee is brought to the cupping lab, taste the coffees, and you discover these smaller new producers. This was this year for me, at least in Honduras and Nicaragua, and where we traveled, discovered many small these producers, which we'd never heard of in our life, and their coffees were really good. Of course, they don't have the pedigree, they don't have the name. And when we go to some roasters, if that small roaster has very good coffee and the price is $7, and we're having a very well-known farm, which the coffee is $7.8, $8, same quality, they'll prefer to buy from a well-known farm. And I think all of you as roasters, I think the idea is also how to bring also these smaller producers and how to, as you said, they don't even know they have 85, 86 coffees, and everybody's telling them it's 82 all the time to buy it cheap and then sell it more expensive. I think traceability, transparency in that sense makes sense a lot. Give to you as well.
Yeah.
Curious on how you guys are.
Yeah, in short, for me, I think it's if you want to do direct trade, you need to accept the risk. If you buy and if there is some kind of...
If you go to Ethiopia, you can understand this.
Yeah. So I think it's a risky business from one side. From the other side, the most important thing is to take coffees not one time from the same farmer as Michalis wrote, but to come back each year and to see how the farmers grow, how they develop. That's the most important thing. And I also don't mind the people who invest the energy, they have the connections, they have many years in those countries. And I also, what we do, we roast coffee. We do our best at roasting coffee and cupping. And I completely trust, and I have many friends in the intermediaries who I trust. And we go to the dinners with the same people, with the same farmers. For example, in Panama, there is one table with all the producers, and you don't skip the people who connect you to the producers. So the transparency and the connections, I think, and that's the most.
Yeah, I'm mainly listening and actually wanted to say that for me it's direct trade, first of all, to find the right middleman, because, I'm not a farm man. I'm a roaster. I live in a city. I love my asphalt, not a farm. And technically, when I hear people, sometimes roasters, saying, I need direct connection, so the most direct connection, go and live to the farm, I would say. And you need to work at that farm, and you need to build that connection yourself. Of course, I'm saying it in an irony, like I'm joking, like maybe too sharp. But for me, when I find very good coffee importers, green bean sellers, first of all, I trust them because they do a crazy job to finding and sourcing the green beans. They know all the system, all the logistics, all the, shortcuts. And what we receive is samples of green beans. And if we like it, we start to, let's say, communicate. For me, what's interesting, it's not the smallest farm ever, but I really like when our green bean importers focusing onto something. For example, we were working with some green bean importers who work only with Yemeni coffee, one example. Then we have partners who work only with Asian coffee, but actually only some. And of course, we work with people, with green bean people who has the spectrum of coffees. And I don't want to be very romantic about direct relationship because it's a hard work. And I think direct relationship for me personally is, first of all, with my own team. Okay, we're a family business. Then with our clients who come, and big or small, I think I want to build that kind of relationship. And from the other side, when I buy cheese, when I buy milk, when I buy coffee, I trust the people who deliver that. And I see as a really important big job, and I know I'm really bad at it. I can go to the farm, take some pictures, and imagine that here I am. You know, I know the farmer. I can hold his hand, and imagine that. You know, I've done good stuff for him. But I would agree also, if you are into relationship and getting closer to the farm, it's very, very nice to continue to support maybe the same farm in his best times and worst times. So with some importers, green bean importers, we try to work and connect, but really not indirectly, like through middlemen, to the same source. And we really respect the green bean importers who help some farms to do some evolution in a quality wise, but you know, all the feedback we are giving about good or bad coffee directly to middleman, like if we would work with you, I would trust you, and you know, who am I to say something to the farmer? You know, I don't know how to put the flour in a pot, yeah, you get the idea. I mean, so just if I would have an idea, you know, I feel I want very direct contact, I probably would just jump into green bean seller and buyer position, and it's a huge, serious job. So all I can do is to respect and trust the middleman. But I really always looking for the middleman I resonate with. You know, like it's always nice when you just not buying digits, not buying like numbers. It's nice to communicate, to talk, to see how he sees farmers. And it's, you know, we still human beings, so it's very simple, I think.
I totally agree with you that direct trade as a concept is overly romanticized, of course. But I wanted to ask you, do you have like what makes you trust middlemen? Like when you say that you need that you have to trust if you start the relationship with an importer, you have to trust them, of course. But what are the things that you look for?
Yeah, technically it's like every relationship. You do your moves, you see how person reacts to it, and the longer you work with, like we have one green bean seller. I know him even before he was green bean seller, and he focuses into farms around the globe, which are not the best farms, but helping farms to become as best as possible. So his idea was always to work with farms who have enthusiasm to grow in quality-wise. And I know the person, yeah, I just know him for more than 15 years. So this is maybe the biggest example I have. With other importers, we work for 5-6 years. And somehow, you know, through time, you have a relationship and you build trust. And do we had any bad relationship? Yes. You see it right away. People promise some things, you know, and then they don't come to, they don't deliver. But again, it's not a problem. It's what things happen. I'm not ideal too, maybe. Yeah. So it should be connection. It should be natural connection. It's not like a wedding, but it's having good friends at this chain, I think.
I think that happens also on the consumer level when they're buying from you. Your consumer trusts you that you're delivering the story you're giving behind. Yeah. So the consumer relationship with the roaster is the same. I think going forward, at least in the business environment, how important are ethics for you? I think that's, as a business, if you're an ethical business, and what is the base of your business? Because in today's day, I mean, we went this year on an origin trip with some of our roasters, and we were cupping, and they were asking, what's the price of this? And the producer was giving the price, but he was giving the farm gate prices. And we were like, this is the first time it happened to us.
Oops.
And we were like, we didn't know how to react, and yeah, we know how much we make. They didn't mention anything. We got back home, and they were like, yeah, they're okay, the prices. But we got a little bit caught off guard because we were never in this situation. Because the producer is like, that's my price. Okay. And he says, he buys 2 containers, you buy 2 bags. The prices are different based on this. Yeah. And he communicated, but it was really natural for him the way he said it and catch me completely off guard. Mm-hmm. But then I relaxed and I was like, wait a minute, I'm not buying a $4 coffee and selling it for $9. I'm not doing that. And then I started to break down. I was like, calm down. You're not doing something wrong. So I think with the consumer, because there is that, we've had these talks many times in the past years with the consumers saying, okay, I'm buying in Ethiopia, but you can buy in Ethiopia grade 3 and sell it as 2. You can buy a grade 2 and sell it as 1. You can put whatever name you want on the bags. I mean, we've all seen throughout the coffee market how it's developed. It's getting better and better, but trust, I think trust is what binds everyone together in the community. One thing I wanted to know is, are competition coffees only for competition, or are you guys approaching like high-end coffees outside of competition areas?
I can start. So we use competition coffees, of course, for competition, but we buy what we like. We started our company from competitions, so we constantly have in our assortment competition coffees. We have a coffee shop where we prepare these coffees, and it's interesting for us. For us, it's the most interesting thing is to try exceptional coffees, because you try ordinary coffees every day and you cup them. They are usually the same. You look for the same quality, but always you're looking for something exceptional. And if we can use and communicate in our coffee shops the competition coffees and educate them that the coffee can taste like this or that, it can be, I don't know, out of this world. So we are trying. We sometimes go to minus, but we try to raise the level and to educate people.
And I think you like it. I think I'm like, although we know with Domas each other for a long time, I think I'm kind of opposite. I'm not going to any competitions. It's not like, I don't see the point for myself, but I really respect when people do this. But if we talk about competition coffees, or high level coffees, I maybe see all these coffees as, all our coffees we buy. We have, let's say, daily coffees and some coffees which even in festival we brought some exceptional coffees. I always try to find the words for normal people. It's very hard. Competitional coffees. What are these competitional coffees? My mom don't get it. So it's more like real limited coffees which are exceptional. And for me personally, a lot of things I connect with coffee with music. It's like a band which plays like really original stuff. And I always look that every coffee would sound really original. Otherwise, I don't know why I have to have it. At the same time, I'm okay with when the coffee sounds like really in a good popular way. Like we have some Brazilian beans or Ethiopian beans, But I would agree with Domas that it's nice to have some coffees which, first of all, you like yourself and want to promote, even if you get sometimes minus. We also have some kind of these coffees, where our marge is very little, or even we don't have marge because we paid a lot of money for this coffee just because we like it. So we understand we can't maybe earn a lot of money on that, but at the same time, intuition leads us that if someone will try this kind of coffee, where your inside coffee enthusiast will raise a bit, and you can give it to even my mom. I don't know, she's 82 and she just likes or hates coffee. Like, she's very simple, she doesn't check the numbers, the points of the coffee. But I saw also that some of the coffees which are really interesting, they're interesting for her as a good stories, as a good music.
Sorry for the interruption, but
all good.
Yes, but at the past there were not exist as, let's say, a brand competition coffees. The coffees, it was about points. You remember that? So we gave this, let's say, name
branding.
Yes, exactly. After the competitions, the champions that they came and all this stuff. Actually, is good quality coffees. that coming from producers that they are giving, let's say, better care and different kind of fermentation. More, let's say, they're spending more time with these beans, these cherries, to create something unique.
And smaller.
Exactly, exactly.
It's a bit like jewelry, you know, but like gems.
Like a good wine. It's not like this farm is making only competition coffees or whatever. We know each other that we're living from, let's say, Brazilian coffees, some Ethiopian coffees. As you said, we don't know the grade 1 or the grade 2 how it is. And if I can tell something that I visit Ethiopia, and I had in my mind, as every barista in the world, yes, I will visit Ethiopia, it's my dream, blah, blah, blah. So when I went there, because I went with a full of bag of clothes to give to the people, they told me that, I realized the level of living there, how many people, maybe, not all of them for sure, they are waiting to scam you or to get money from you without sending coffee. So this, let's say, the competition's coffees is from the farm, how he respects everything, then from the importer, and then how this coffee scores, and then from the roasters, how the cuppers, how they score everything. So for me, this is very important. But we have to give to understand to the people that competition coffees are coffees that are coming maybe from same farms, but they're giving just a bit of, let's say, more care.
More care, yeah, very nice, yeah.
So for me, I mean, competition coffees is from farmers. First of all, it kind of starts from Cup of Excellence, let's say, and the auctions of the Cup of Excellence, on how a producer wants to showcase his best. And when we go to cuppings in origin and we give points, we get together, we're like, I don't know, 8, 10 roasters or people together, we cup the coffees, we sit down after that and we talk about the coffees and we give unofficial points, not Sky points, in order to see how calibrated we are, first of all. And when a producer sees how you point the coffee and how you talk about the coffee, his eyes are like, wow. So if you're saying like a coffee is amazing, and it is amazing, and for the producer, it's like a big motivation. So the producer gets really, really motivated when he knows how his coffee is being appreciated. And these kind of producers are kind of on the international circuit. They have social media, they're connected with outside. So when we're talking about competition coffees, they're intentional coffees. They're producers intentionally trying to give good coffees, produce good coffees, and to compete, because for them it's like a business card, as it is for a roastery to win the World Roastery Championships, I don't know, or something like this. So competition, I think, when I think about competition coffees, everybody thinks price, because it's the most expensive thing on the planet. So because it's very limited. So on the other side, we're talking a few kilograms of this coffee. We're not talking hundreds of kilograms of this coffee.
And a lot of hard work for many days, many hours.
Yes. So it doesn't actually make money for the producer, the competition coffee, but it gives him the, how you call it?
The badge.
The badge, yes. And that helps him sell his regional lots. That helps him sell his micro lots. We know very well, if you're having a Cup of Excellence participator, not winner, it's enough that motivates a roaster to buy from a Cup of Excellence participator. So I think, like on competition, when we're talking about competition coffees, yes, when it comes to B2C, I think they don't know the language and what it is. It sounds very good, it sounds very fancy, but there's a distance between the consumer and where we are with competition coffees. But it's supposed to be the best of the best. It's their dream that it gets to the World Barista Championships, the Brewers Cup, their coffees compete. And that's also the roaster job, because they produce good coffee, but that coffee is roasted and it's roasted many different times, many different ways, lots of trial and error, and finally brewed by a barista who's doing it. So for the producer, he starts the journey, then it's taken by the roaster, then finally it's taken by the barista. And that kind of like comes together for me as like one circle, as one family, where the barista has to be connected to the producer. He has to know the producer, that he has to be connected. Many times the barista is invited to go before to meet the producer and to understand how the coffee is made. So competition coffees for me they're like a little trap. They're very attractive,
Yeah.
but they're not economic.
Yeah, but
They're not
sometimes
economically viable.
yeah, but sometimes the most expensive coffee isn't the best cup on the table. You need to divide in this because sometimes coffees are just expensive, but sometimes coffees are.
You gotta know the price for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So don't forget that in Busan 2018, if I remember correct, Dale Harris won with cheap coffee the barista championship. Okay, like a Cell 28.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so what is competition coffee? It's about the clarity. Like how I feel like judging in this competition. It's about the clarity. It's about the complexity. It's about let's say the development on the roasting. So it's let's say a combo of different people that they create something good. Okay, also the barista at the end.
That's true.
So kind of trying to wrap it up because the cupping championships is starting here, and I think these guys are looking at.
We have a grinders attacking
Also,
our.
the festival is starting, so I think everybody has to get to its stand. Yeah, there's many subjects you can develop when it comes to coffee, roasters, producers. Super happy we can talk about this and talk about it openly. At least me as a green coffee importer, for me, yeah, it's super important to get feedback and to understand better. And also, we're having our feedback from the producers. One of my last questions is, how many of you have been reached out directly from a producer to work with them? Through Instagram, like send you a direct message. Look, I'm...
The producer to us?
Yes.
We have actually our people we work in Brazil with. This is a new. That was I think five years ago now. Somebody who wanted to become a wine producer and bought a old coffee farm, and locals were like you're like you cannot take the coffee down. Come on. And there was like, okay, I might as well go on with this. And then a year later, he reached out to us, so we bought his first ever coffee that he ever produced, and we work ever since. We had a beautiful connection right off the bat. Yeah.
For us, I don't know, just random, from somewhere writing emails to buy directly, but from the people, because when we start relationship, we work for many years and building with the intermediaries. So for us, no, the producers didn't try to skip.
We used to work a bit with one Salvadorian producer, but it was also very natural connection. We just know the guys who work with him in UK, and we were at that time at the same room, let's say. So and he's like producer mainly living in Europe, but doing a lot of job also in El Salvador. So he's like also very atypical maybe producer. He's not living in the source always, but time after time. But we had a couple connections like this, but not often. I think I see still that it's easier to find the green bean importer like. In Europe somewhere, and it's you then start to calculate. I mean, it's easier to do all the taxes, all the invoicing. So at least we don't do this direct producing connection anymore.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you.
Just one quick thing that I wanted to clear out as well. It's I think when we talked about the direct trade and the transparency of this is also that it's not a bad thing to buy from importers. I think the idea is to ask questions. Like I would push people to ask questions and be curious of what is it.
I got it. It's about building trust also. I mean, if they answer.
And very, very fast, because I know that we don't have time. We said about trust. Okay, and let's say, don't be shy to say that, but trust for the producer, then the importers, and then the roasters, and then let's say the shops. It's about the money and the deliberation of the money that from the order. What I mean, the producer is spending a lot of money during the year to make a production. Then this production is going to importer. The importer spend a lot of money to import the coffees and have it in the warehouse, stays there and have responsibility to sell. Then the roaster is buying this coffee, have to pay the amount according to the price this day, the importer, and waiting till the moment that the shop will deliver the money to give this money back. So it's like a cycle economy, and this make trust. If one of these people change, let's say, the day of payment, then it's a disaster for all of them.
Yeah, just as wrap up, I totally understand. I mean, I understand what you meant, but that also comes from a history of how the traders were working, because we have to go back 10 years on how traders were working and how they're working now. So companies like Algano and I don't know, these platforms did not exist 10 years ago. You were having like one or two big importers, and basically you were not getting any information about where the coffee is coming from. I think you're talking in that sense, in that way it's been developed. There's been no transparency. But I think in today's day, anybody can find out the price of coffee at origin. I mean, that's so easy. Any
call a
person
farmer.
can find out, and I think you start making the calculations if the price if the price is correct on what the importer or the intermediary is trying to sell, and if it makes sense quality-wise. The things that come in between are risk mitigation. I think that's one of the topics. Is a different topic, risk mitigation. Risk mitigation in the sense like I deliver to a roaster, and he's like, sorry, this is not what I copped, and I get it back. You can't do that with origin. Nothing goes back to origin. And I think that's a risk that each company takes. And in any business, in any decision, there's a risk. And as long as the risk is assumed and you know what's going on, I don't think it's a problem. But yeah, for sure, it's not. I don't take it as a negative thing. I thought it was a positive subject because it's about the transparency in the middle. And I totally agree with the transparency because it's impossible to run from it. You cannot run from transparency.
And maybe one quick, maybe a slightly controversial thing, but that was something you said. Also, it then kind of means that, or I think it's also true, that oftentimes commercial coffee is so much, like doing commercial coffee and selling commercial coffee for farmers is so much better than specialty. In specialty, there's so like small roasters. They don't have. Do they have money? Don't they have money? They're not insured. You know, people buying all commercial coffee every year. They're buying the same thing. Of course, it's the price is lower, and you know I'm not talking about that at all. But for the farmers, knowing and having the like knowing that every year they're coming back because you know the buyers are somebody that don't care much.
For the competition, coffee is very hard. You know, they have to keep the limit always in the. There are a lot of farms that they have been disappeared. That they had competition coffees, so you have right. I completely understand the meaning. Commercial, as you said, commercial. We are not meaning the bad quality coffees. We are meaning like the daily coffees. Okay, so it's not about good or bad quality. It's about the, let's say, the price according to the product.
Yeah, and also okay, one last thing. Sorry. No, but it's you know because with specialty coffee, often what happens is you know quality is put so high up in the list, and to me, I think sometimes too high, because next year the coffee is not that good. You know, I'll look from the others. You know, I'll look from the neighbors. I'll go to.
You need to go back.
Go to
Yeah.
that place.
Yeah.
If quality drops next year because the weather, because of anything, whatever else, there's always a chance that quality buyers are not coming back. But with commercial, that's never the case because the quality is always it's stably lower. Not bad, but stably low. And that's what the buyers need, and that's what gives them the trust that they're be coming back. Just wanted to add that.
So thank you guys very much. I think we covered some
Thank you.
interesting subjects. Some of them are controversial, yes, but I like them. Yeah, because like this, hopefully we get some more information out there to the roasters and B2B professionals who are in the industry and producers, and maybe we can, with talks like this, make a little bit open up and make it more relaxed to talk about subjects like this, and not to be so taboo, the subjects. So thank you. Anyway, thank you guys very much.
Thank
We'll
you.
see how this
Thank you.
podcast goes.